in 2009, the state of South Dakota made an attempt to make the state smoke-free, but because of tribal sovereignty, tribal nations were not protected from the same smoke-free air if they were on a reservation. So as a result, the Canli Coalition was born, and for the last 6 years, the Canli Coalition has worked to pass an ordinance that would make all enclosed public places, as well as a 50-foot radius from any entryway into a building, smoke-free. We created the ordinance using a lawyer from the William Mitchell Law Center who assisted us to review the state's smoke-free air law and adapt it to meet our needs. The major changes was the addition of the 50-foot radius of any entrance to a public place, as well as e-cigarettes and the exemption for traditional uses of tobacco. We went in with the ordinance very eager and hopeful that the Tribal Council would be on our side and pass this Smoke-Free Air Act. Unfortunately, we met a great deal of resistance, and were encouraged every time we went to Tribal Council to go back to the community and do more education on tobacco. And that's just what we did. We took that constructive criticism and turned it into a really positive community, tribal-wide movement. We did a great deal of work with the youth in the community who were very supportive of this idea. And in the end, after 6 years of working through Tribal Council's system to pass an ordinance, we were successful. So as of May 2015, the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe is a 100% smoke-free tribe. Of course, that doesn't include public homes or residents, but it does include any enclosed public place to be smoke-free. The community has been very receptive to this. We've had very few incidences of people not obeying this ordinance. The law enforcement is on board with supporting it, and really we found that it's been pretty easy to enforce because the community does most of the enforcement. The most moving day of my professional career was at Tribal Council the day that it was passed. We brought with us about 25 youth who had supported smoke-free air throughout the process of the coalition's development and all the activities that we'd done in the community. And after me getting on my soapbox and addressing Tribal Council with why I thought this was important and why it should be enacted, the youth were asked by a council member to stand up and speak into the mic and share what they feel this issue is for, because the Tribal Council member said, after all, it's the youth that we're trying to protect by passing an ordinance that would eliminate secondhand smoke in enclosed public places. So let's hear it from the youth. Let's see what they have to say about this issue. And one by one, all 25 of those youth members that were there stood up and said, I support the Canli Coalition and smoke-free air. Several of them gave personal testimonies as to why they supported this. Some shared stories about them being exposed to secondhand smoke at home. Others shared stories about how they want their younger siblings to be protected and live in an environment, in a tribal community that's not polluting their lungs. And really that was the turning point of that meeting. After that, the Tribal Council went around the room and passed their vote. It was a very powerful thing that happened that day, and we are so proud of our council members for acknowledging the health of the 7 generations to come behind us, because it's not only us that this ordinance will affect. It will be 7 generations beyond us that will see the benefits of smoke-free air. This is coming from a reservation with a 51% smoking rate among our tribal member adults, compared to 20% nationally of all races. So despite our incredibly high smoking rate, we found that it's not only non-smokers that support smoke-free air, it's smokers as well. The main lesson is to embrace the tobacco users as people that you can work with, not your enemies. And that, I would say, is a wonderful example of tribal sovereignty in its finest form, taking our own health and issues into our hands and passing policy that will make a lasting impression on the health of 7 generations to come